Well, a very good evening, and for the second time in 4 days, it's welcome to Hilton Park, Leigh, for the Silk Cut Rugby League Challenge Cup competition. My name is Derek Disley, I'm your match commentator, and on behalf of your cameraman Billy Lee, I'd like to welcome you to Hilton Park this evening, where Leigh entertain Hunslet in the second round of this season's Silk Cut Rugby League Challenge Cup competition. Two captains are at the centre at the moment, with referee Mr Hodgson from Maryport, so I'll quickly go through the two sides. Leigh have at number 1 Chris Johnson, 2 Graham Wogan, 3 Steve Davis, 4 John Henderson, 5 Phil Fox, 6 John Woods, 7 Gary Stevens, 8 Derek Pike, 9 Ray Taburn, 10 Gary Van Bellen, 11 Tony Cottrell, 12 Jeff Clark, and 13 Mark Thomas. The Leigh substitutes are number 14 Phil Johnson and number 15 Roy Howarth. The Hunslet side have at number 1 Andrew Kay, number 2 Stephen Hullock, 3 Philip Tate, 4 Peter Roll, 5 Eric Fitzsimmons, 6 Gary Carwood, 7 Graham King, 8 Andrew Bateman, 9 Neil Gray, 10 Chris Bowden, 11 Mal Graham, 12 Graham Idle, and 13 the skipper John Wolford. The Hunslet substitutes are number 14 David Murray and number 15 Andrew Marson. And it's Leigh in possession for the first time, and they drop the ball, which is quickly picked up by Hooker Gray, and Hunslet are on the attack as early as the 30-second mark. Prop forward Chris Bowden, and there's the man that Leigh have got to watch this evening, 40-year-old John Wolford, but he's certainly beginning to run the show so early on in the match. He was the difference between the two sides at Hunslet a month ago, when Hunslet won by 16 points to 14 at Elland Road in the first division of the Slalom Lager Championship. A fine kick through, again by Wolford, and it's 6 more tackles. Hunslet regain possession. Attacked in half back is Graham Idle. He moves it left to Wolford. Wolford on to prop forward Bowden. But a high tackle gives Hunslet their first penalty kick of the evening from right in front of the Leigh post, just 10 yards out. And it will be left winger Eric Fitzsimmons, who returned after a long injury layoff in the first round match at Mansfield on Sunday, when Hunslet won by 34 points to 10. And in that match, Eric Fitzsimmons passed the 1,000 points mark for his club, and it looks as though with this easy kick he's going to increase it here this evening at Hilton Park, and he does. And after just 2 minutes, an Eric Fitzsimmons penalty goal puts Hunslet in a 2 points to 0 lead. So it's John Woods back at the restart, back in the game as skipper this evening. Well, that ball goes to Idle. Cottrell the tackler. Another prop forward Bateman. Graham drops the ball, picked up by a Leigh player. Leigh in possession for the first time in Hunslet territory. There goes scrum half Gary Stevens. Fails to beat the first tackler. His opposite number Graham King. Gary Van Bellen pushed back. One of the players in tonight who missed the first round victory over Huddersfield Barracudas last Sunday. Jeff Clark trying to break down this Hunslet defence. Here comes Derek Pike. Good run from Pike, almost reaches the Hunslet 25, but it's the last tackle coming up. Good passing movement here. Van Bellen dies with the ball, with Leigh having created an overlap, and that's the first turnover of the game in Hunslet's favour. Hunslet striving to clear the lines. Luke Neil Gray plays it back to King. King on to Bateman. Dummy from King. Almost caught Leigh napping. Graham attacked in half-back to Wolford. Wolford gets it out to stand-off Carwood. Wolford again. Wolford this time with the kick. Well taken by Leigh left winger Phil Fox. It's Ray Taburn attacked in half-back to Derek Pike. You're noticing the change in teams that I give you. In fact, John Henderson is wearing number 3 for Leigh and Steve Davis number 4. But it's Leigh in possession in their own half. But they get their first penalty of the evening. Double marking at the play of the ball. Hunslet on a bit of a winning streak at the moment, having suffered 16 defeats in their first 19 matches. They've won their last 4, which included, and started in fact, with the home victory over Leigh in January. And they're still on that winning streak with victories over Warrington, Workington and Mansfield in the Cup. But it's Leigh in possession, who scored their first victory for 10 matches last Sunday in the first round of this competition. And here comes Mark Thomas, and that's the deepest Leigh have been into Hunslet territory. Taburn attacked in half-back, gets it out to Stevens, to Pike. Cottrell comes on the short one, still going. Gets it out to Fox. There's 6 men covering for Hunslet on that occasion. Better from Leigh. Woods with the ball to Stevens. Get out to Pike. Pike fails to release the ball. Stevens, where's he going? Is it out to Clark? Clark gets it back to Stevens, to Van Bellen. Leigh going round a little in circles at the moment. It's the last tackle coming up. Hunslet defence is held on this occasion. Woods with the up and under. All Leigh are penalised for offside. And that gives Hunslet their second penalty in this match. They lead by 2 points to 0 with 6 minutes of the first half gone. Both sides, of course, will want to make progress this evening because the winners have a very lucrative home tie in the third round against the cup favourites Hull Kingston Rovers. So a lot to play for both clubs. But they both, of course, have relegation worries as well. But those will be forgotten for this evening as Eric Fitzsimmons puts the ball into touch on the far side of the field. Hunslet now on the attack, brought forward Bolden. Ray goes alone from acting half-back. Once again, it's going it alone from the acting half-back. This time it's brought forward Bateman. Now it's out to Wolford. This time he kicks. That's a good looking kick, but it bounces inside for Leigh. Taken by Leigh fullback Chris Johnson, who beats the first man, but clears his line, makes 50 valuable yards for Leigh. Leigh in possession just outside their own 25, but they get another penalty at that play of the ball. Penalties to each at the moment. Referee Mr. Hodgson from Maryport showing his authority in the early stages. Woods puts the ball onto the supporters club stand and Ray Taburn will take the tap. To Van Bellen. Taburn attacked in half, I guess it out to Stevens, to Pike. Pike loses the ball. Dropped on by Mel Graham. Here comes Bateman. King attacked in half-back. King moves it out to centre Tate. Tattle by Woods. King attacked in half-back. King moves it out to Idle, to Wolford. Wolford inside to Carwood. Carwood looking for support. Leigh stopped the movement in the tattle. King again attacked in half-back, goes it alone, inside to Wolford. Wolford keeps it moving. Good tackling from Tony Cottrell. Last tackle coming up. It's back for a drop kick attempt by Fitzsimmons. Bounces nicely for fullback Chris Johnson. He beats one man, gets it out to Phil Fox. Fox can't break clear. Good tackle coming in from wingman Hullock. That brings a bit of heart to the Leigh supporters as Mark Thomas tries to break clear. Comes Gary Van Bellen. There's no way through there. Graham Bowden nail him down to the floor. Pike now. Breaks one-man rugby from Leigh. No one supporting the move. Taburn gets it out to Stevens. Stevens varies the play with a kick. Good looking kick. Takes Leigh some 35 yards up the field. That'll be a relief for the Leigh forwards. But we'll have the first scrum of the game after 9.5 minutes play. And it'll be Graham King to feed for Hunslet. Hunslet head and ball. Well, the pack hadn't even formed them, but it's a scrum won by Hunslet. Now Hunslet move it right. Brought forward Bateman. King had acting half-back. Gets out to Wolford. Wolford brings the other prop Bowden into it. Wolford attacked in half-back this time. Gets it out to Carwood. Centre roll. Dodges round one Leigh player. Tackle by Graham Wogan. Returning to the Leigh side this evening after a 15-match absence through injury. Last tackle coming up, and Leigh have contained Hunslet in their own territory this time. Ball goes back to Fitzsimmons. Taken by wingman Wogan, who steps back into touch. Well, of course, the talking point would be, should he have taken the ball or would it have gone out to play direct? Nevertheless, it's going with the second scrum of the game, this time on the Leigh 25 with King to feed again. This time he's penalised. In fact, the ball missed the scrum completely, I think. So Woods kicks for touch on the far side. Gains about 15 yards. Taburn with the tap onto Pike. Gets it out again to Pike, to Van Bellen. The Leigh forwards not really together yet, but they gain their fourth penalty of the game through lying on at the play of the ball by Andrew Bateman. John Woods this time decides to place kick for touch on the far side. . 12 minutes of the first half gone. Leigh trail by 2 points to 0 in this second round Rugby League Challenge Cup match, with Leigh in possession in Hunslet territory. Gary Van Bellen drives in. Leigh are 10 yards outside the Hunslet 25. Taburn is attacked in half-back. Out to Pike. The other way to Stevens. Stevens tries to straighten it up. Gains about 5 yards. Taburn again to Thomas. Well, a forward pass is given there against Tony Cottrell, who's tackled by fullback Andrew Kay anyway. But Pike made the half break. The pass, I must say, did look slightly forward from my position, but it was certainly more enterprising from Leigh. So we'll scrum it again. Once again, King will feed. Referee's not happy. So King will feed the scrum again. Scrum's 1-0 in Hunslet's favour at the moment. Play right on the Hunslet 25 in front of the Hunslet pole. Hunslet win that scrum. Good loose forward play from Mark Thomas there, following scrum half Graham King. Here comes centre Phil Tate. Takes 3 Leigh players to bring him down. Here comes brought forward Bateman. Nothing to choose between the two sides in these early stages. Comes Wolford onto Idle. Good tackle indeed from Tony Cottrell. Now Wolford again. On that occasion, Andrew Kay and Wolford got in one another's road. It's now thrown back to fullback Kay, who kicks high up and under, but they're all offside. Well taken by Chris Johnson, and Hunslet are penalised for not giving Leigh 10 yards in which to play the ball. Leigh needing a bit of spell with the ball to settle themselves down. That one almost got us. So it's Ray Taburn with the tap. He decides to go it alone, falls to a tackle by his opposite number, Neil Gray. Pike now, on to Van Bellum. Hunslet are up pretty quick at these play the balls. Leigh needing a little more room to work with. Stevens goes it alone, but Hunslet are well aware of Gary Stevens' tricks. Ray Taburn now. Oh, an almost interception there for Hunslet. Once again it's that man John Wolford. Maybe at the veteran stage, but once again he showed all his expertise on that occasion to break the movement down. So for the first time this evening, Gary Stevens will feed the scrum. 15 minutes of the match gone, but before he gets the opportunity, Leigh get their 5th penalty for the scrum not being formed correctly, and John Woods will kick for touch. Hunslet still lead by 2 points to 0. Play midway between the halfway line and the Hunslet 25, and here comes Derek Pike looking for that gap. On to Ray Taburn, good looking break from Taburn. That's better from Leigh, takes Leigh deep into Hunslet territory. Mark Thomas on to Jeff Clark, short ball, but Clark fails to break down this resilient Hunslet defence. Now Thomas again, to John Woods. Woods goes inside, outside, but he's brought down about 5 yards short. Leigh still in play. It's out to winger Phil Fox, and the referee gives the try. It's the first try of the match. After 16 minutes play, it goes to the Leigh left winger Phil Fox, and that's his first try since the opening match of the season. But it has put Leigh into a 4 points to 2 lead in this second round Silk Cut Rugby League Challenge Cup tie. So John Woods returns to the role of goal kicking. He's 55 to his credit, plus 1 drop goal before this attempt. And he's back on song as he increases the Leigh lead to 6 points to 2. Try scorer for Leigh, Phil Fox. The goal converted by skipper John Woods. Well, we're not sure if our cameraman caught the action on that. There was a quick, short, sharp pass from Tony Cottrell, which missed out centre Steve Davis and found wingman Phil Fox. The Hunslet restart, and Chris Johnson, a bit more enthusiasm now in this Leigh side, as Johnson clears the home 25. Taburn goes it alone. Taburn was involved in one of the initial rushes that set up the position for that try. Mark Thomas now. Good looking pass, brings in Tony Cottrell. Leigh have a 3-to-1 overlap here to Stephen Davis. Is he going to get his first try for the club? He does. Leigh score 2 tries in the space of a minute. All came from that initial break right in front of us by second row forward Tony Cottrell. And that has put Leigh into a 10 points to 2 lead, and for the first time for many months the Leigh supporters have something to cheer about. So John Woods, with his second conversion attempt in the space of 90 seconds, draws it wide of the near post on this occasion. But suddenly, from being 2 points down, Leigh put 10 points on the board in the space of 90 seconds. So it's Eric Fitzsimmons back at the centre with the restart. This time goes straight into the waiting arms of Mark Thomas, and Leigh running with more venom now. But John Wolford pinches the ball in that tattle, throws the ball out to Andrew Bateman, and he's finally tattled by Gary Van Bellen. Hunslet will want a quick score to get back into this game. Here comes Graham onto Carwood. King attacked in half-back. But once again, a penalty given by referee Hodgson for two men marking at the play of the ball. And Eric Fitzsimmons steps up for his second penalty attempt at goal this evening. It's right on the 20-minute mark, halfway through the first half, and a reminder that Leigh lead by 10 points to 2. So Eric Fitzsimmons from almost directly in front of the Leigh post, just outside the Leigh 25. Second attempt, and he's on target for the second time. He reduces the arrears to 6 points. Leigh now lead by 10 points to 4. So it's John Woods back at the restart. Kicks deep. Taylor the second attempt by wingman Hullock. Leigh tattle him in his own 25. Wolford attacked in half-back. This time it's King attacked in half-back. He goes it alone. Leigh stop him on the 25. Taburn fails with a ball pinching attempt. This time it's Gray attacked in half-back. Oh no, brilliant! And it's on to scrum half Graham King, but I don't think he's going to make it. There's 4 Leigh men catching him up. Graham Morgan is the man making the tackle. It's a big looking break here as Mel gets it out. He's now with Wolford. Out to stand off Carwood. Gets it. And Leigh have got possession. Tony Cottrell takes the ball. Relief for Leigh. A fine break there by Hunslet. Got a good promising attack. Came to nothing. They would have been grateful for a score at this time, trailing by 6 points at the moment. But they have Leigh penned in their own 25. Now out to Gary Stevens. Leigh trying to break clear. John Henderson reaches the 25. Stevens attacked in half-back. It's to Thomas, to Pike. Good looking ball. Inside to Fox. Fox can move if he can get clear. Good tackle from Hullock. Good wing play. Followed his opposite number. Well, good decision by Mark Thomas to attempt a kick for touch rather than hand it over at the turnover. It'll be head and ball at this scrum. Hunslet. Graham King will feed. Referee not happy. All the Leigh front row on the floor on that occasion. Well, it's another scrum won by Hunslet. They're winning the scrum 3-0 at the moment. And they win a penalty for a trip. Penalties 5 each. Scrums 3-0 for Hunslet. So Eric Fitzsimmons once again comes over and is to kick at goal. He's been successful with his 2 kicks so far. This is the difficultest that he's had to date. Coming up to 24 minutes of the first half gone. Leigh lead by 10 points to 4. Fitzsimmons taking his time. He realises the importance of this kick. So Eric Fitzsimmons with his third attempt at goal this evening. Building up concentration. Leigh supporters tried to put him off and they're successful. And it doesn't go dead, so it gives possession to Leigh. And there goes Graham Wogan on the break. Good play from Leigh. Cleared their own lines. But once again they've lost the ball in the tackle. Hunslet had done that 3 or 4 times so far this evening. They're putting pressure back on Leigh, and it's that man Wolford. Changes direction with Mel Graham. But he loses possession. Picked up by the Leigh fullback Chris Johnson. Play certainly lively at the moment. As Leigh tried to clear their own lines, but the touch judge on the far side indicates a punch in that tackle. And the penalty to Leigh. So John Woods puts the ball out of play on the Leigh 25. 25 minutes of the first half gone. Leigh 10 points, Hunslet 4. All out to Gary Stevens, to Mark Thomas. Move for the man doing the tackling. He doesn't get the ball on this occasion. Jeff Clark now trying to break clear. Throws the ball on the floor. Picked up by Tony Cottrell, who appeared to be tripped, but no free kick given. Stephen Davis now gets it out to Derek Pike. Leigh can't break out of their own 25 at the moment. Here comes Mark Thomas. Another first time tackle, this time by Chris Bowden. Woods kicks through, nice looking kick. Picked up by King, gives it out to fullback Kay, who's tackled in turn by prop forward Derek Pike. King attacked in half, I guess it is centre Tate. Play 5 yards inside the Leigh half. King again, going it alone. Tate now at the acting half-back position. Sit out to Graham. Jeff Clark has the tackle. Gray attacked in half-back. Looking for someone to pass to. Last tackle coming up, and this time it's the Leigh defence that is looking sound. But Wolford with the kick. No, he dummies. Gets it into Graham, who kicks ahead. And again, a good looking kick. Dropped on by John Woods. That certainly looked dangerous for Leigh for a moment there. Derek Pike trying to clear the Leigh lines. Leaving under pressure for 2 or 3 minutes now. John Woods goes to acting half-back. To Gary Van Bellum. But once again, one-man rugby. Ray Taburn now. To Gary Stevens, he goes the other way. Is the break on? No, can't get the final pass out. It's the last tackle coming up, and Leigh are still inside their own 25. Gary Stevens this time, that's going to go straight up the field. Be taken by fullback Andrew Kay. He's got wingman Hullock with him. What will he do? Running out of space. 3 Leigh men have him almost on the centre spot. Wingman Hullock in the centre of the field at the acting half-back. Now on to Bateman. Behind the side, giving much away as one would expect in a cup tie. Now with Wolford again. Gets it out to Carwood. An inside pass to Graham, who bumps into the referee. And the referee is going to annoy a lot of Hunslet supporters and directors around me. And he's given a scrum down for himself interfering with play. Hunslet most unfortunate on that occasion. Another promising looking attack came to grief. This time it was the referee who saved Leigh. Leigh still to win a scrum in this match. And they're penalised. Gary Stevens is penalised, so it's a differential penalty kick. There must be a tap. Graham King with the tap. It out to Bateman. He strides for those Leigh posts. 10 minutes to half time. Hunslet will certainly want 6 points in this 10 minutes. But they dropped the ball, dropped on by a Leigh player. With a fine looking break here by John Henderson. Now will Leigh move it the width of the pitch. Good looking break, John Woods on the break. Good tattle from behind. And who else but that man Wolford. Long ball out, Cottrell. To keep it going to Phil Fox. Fox goes inside, round 2 men, he's still going. Good tackle from fullback Kay. Better from Leigh, they come out of their shell after a spell under pressure. Long ball out, but it's dropped. And Gary Van Bellen is penalised for offside. Good decision by the referee. Eric Fitzsimmons with a kick for touch. This time he elects to place kick the ball. 9 minutes of this first half remaining. Leigh still clinging to this 10 points to 4 advantage. As Neil Gray comes up with a tap 10 yards inside the Leigh half. Hunter Bateman. He drives into those Leigh forwards, makes 10 yards but loses possession. Leigh in possession. Well, we've seen about half a dozen ball pinching incidents this evening. We don't normally see that many in a full match. But here comes Gary Van Bellen for lead. Leigh in centre field. Move it to Gary Stevens. To Mark Thomas. Wolford again. The man up quickly to stop that move. John Woods attacked in half-back to Gary Stevens. He goes the other way. Dodges and weaves. He doesn't pass Mel Graham. Last tattle coming up. Pike gets it out to Woods. Woods kicks deep. But fullback Kay allows the ball to run over the dead ball line, and Hunslet will tap it from their own 25. Well, I would have thought, from my opinion, the supporters have had their money's worth so far in this match. Both sides have been prepared to swing the ball about on occasions. They've given their all and they've given nothing away. But it's now Hunslet in possession with Bowden. Once again, a run from the acting half-back. Good break, but Wolford drops the ball. John Woods saw the danger there. Forced John Wolford to snatch at the pass. Tony Cottrell down. The referee stops the clock while the Leigh physio comes on to treat the Leigh second row forward. Well, these two sides, of course, have met twice in the First Division this season. And back in September, Leigh were comfortable winners here at Hilton Park by 44 points to 14. But last month, back at Ellen Road, they went down by 16 points to 14. So, honours are even 1 each. Today's the decider, with a lot more at stake than league points. And Leigh are awarded a penalty at that scrum for a loose arm. And I think John Woods will kick for touch. Plays, kicks the ball, but he's going to kick for touch on this near side. Both teams would like a score so close to the interval, which is just 6 minutes away, and Leigh with a 6-point advantage. Ray Taburn with the tap, on to Van Bellen. Tackled by his opposite number, Bolden. Taburn attacked in half-back. Sit out to Pike. To Stevens. To Jeff Clark. Gets it out to Stephen Davis. He can't release the ball in the tackle. Good play again from Leigh. They're on the attack, deep in Hunslet territory. Here comes Stevens again. And who's the break coming from? Well, Leigh are right under the post now. Gary Van Bellen attempts to push himself over, but he's outnumbered there. Even the Leigh pack can't push him over from that position. So Leigh move it to Gary Stevens, who kicks through, and they'll drop out from under the post. Relief for Hunslet. They certainly won't want to concede another try so close to the break. So Bjork Fitzsimmons with a dropout. Should give possession to Leigh. Taken by wingman Phil Fox. He falls to Tate's tackle. There goes Ray Taburn going it alone. Wolford's in for the ball again. He doesn't get it this time. Stephen Davis now. He will go it alone. Gets it out to Jeff Clark, and he drops the ball in the tackle. Leigh play the ball to make sure that the teams will scrum it. Another good spell from Leigh. But they're still to win a scrum in this half. They're losing the scrums 3-0, and it's King to feed Hunslet head and ball. Well, Gary Stevens comes up with the ball, but the referee says the scrum collapsed. We'll have the ball in again. So on this occasion he's not so popular with the Leigh supporters as he wasn't with the Hunslet supporters when he interfered with play at the other end. Once again Gary Stevens gets the ball, but he wants the scrum in for a third time. And Leigh have won that ball against the head. Ironical cheers from the Leigh supporters. Can they make anything of it? Chris Johnson, I think. No, I don't know it is, from the acting half-back, has gone over to score that try. Right, I think it's John Henderson that scored the try. But it's certainly increased the Leigh lead to 14 points to 4. That's just what they wanted, so close to the interval, only 2 minutes before the break. John Woods is wide with a conversion attempt, but that's put Leigh into a 14 points to 4 lead. Yes, we think it was John Henderson was the try scorer there. He was the try scorer, of course, on Sunday in their first round match. We'll clarify that during the half-time break. Once again, Wolford catches Leigh napping. Quick tap, gains possession. In fact, it was King, I do apologise. But Mel Graham strives towards that Leigh 25. Hunslet just outside. 90 seconds of the half remaining. King again goes from the acting half-back. Leigh will want to hold them out until the break. Hooker Gray setting up the position, but they're getting through tackles pretty quickly. It's now out to Graham, to Wolford. He gets it inside to Tate. Leigh defence is good enough on that occasion. King attacked in half-back. Wolford kicks ahead. But the ball says that the ball beat it. The referee says that the ball beat Wolford to the dead ball line. And that's certainly relief for Leigh. Once again, the mastermind on that occasion was the Hunslet skipper and loose forward John Wolford, who's having yet another good game in this Hunslet pack. So Leigh move it right. I think they'll be happy with this score at the interval. Here comes Jeff Clark. He's going to run round. He breaks clear. He's looking for support. Gets it inside to Chris Johnson. Where's the cover? It's to John Henderson again. The cover comes back. Leo stops short. Good play from Leigh. Good support. Move it quickly out. And it's a try in the corner, I think. Well, that's a sensational try by Leigh. 3/4 the length of the field. Good support play. That's something that's been lacking in recent weeks. And we're bang on the 40-minute mark as they increase their lead to 18 points to 4. That was really a team try, started by the initial break from Jeff Clark and completed in that far corner as John Woods comes up with a conversion attempt, but he's wide again. And there goes the hooter to end the first half, which sees Leigh get tremendous round of applause from their supporters. 4 tries in this first half, sees them leading Hunslet by 18 points to 4 at half time in this Silk Cut Rugby League Challenge Cup second round match. We hope you've enjoyed the first half. Please stay with us for the second. Well, welcome back to Hilton Park for the second half of this evening's Silk Cut Rugby League Challenge Cup match between Leigh and Hunslet. A reminder of the half-time score, which reads Leigh 18 points, Hunslet 4. Confirmation that the Leigh try scorers in the first half were in fact Phil Fox, Stephen Davis 2, and Graham Logan was the scorer of the last one right on the interval. It's Hunslet on the attack first in this second half. Andrew Marson, their substitute forward, is on the field. But there comes that man Wolford again. Throws the ball out. Dropped on by Eric Fitzsimmons. Now on to prop forward Bowden. Hunslet will want to get back into this game with a quick score in the second half. And Leigh, quite obviously, will be opening a quick score for them. Could kill off the opposition. It's the last tattle coming up. It's Mal Graham attacked in half-back, and Hunslet have not broken down the Leigh defence. Wolford with the kick. It's quite comfortably taken by Leigh fullback Chris Johnson. Refalls to Marson's tattle. Thomas goes to act in half-back. Brings Jeff Clark into it. Gary Van Bellen now. Wolford in for the ball pinching. Van Bellen retains possession now with Gary Stevens. No way up that middle. Here comes Derek Pike coming the other way. Last tattle coming up. Leigh have been contained in their own territory. Tony Cottrell not happy with that tattle. Oh, and a terrible looking tackle there by prop forward, the Hunslet prop forward. I think it's Andrew Bateman. completely lifted the Leigh scrum half Gary Stevens off his feet with that. But all that he gets is no, not even a talking to. It's just the first penalty kick of the second half in Leigh's favour. Shot one by Tony Cottrell. Gary Stevens again now, soon recovered. Still going. Leigh playing with more purpose than they have done in recent weeks. Mark Thomas now to Jeff Clark. Once again, Hunslet close up the middle. Ray Taburn now. Mark Thomas trying to riddle his way out of the tattles. Stephen Davis going it alone after his hat-trick. Keeps the ball moving. Here comes Jeff Clark. But the pass wasn't good enough to John Woods and Leigh lose possession. Hunslet thankful to get the ball. Mal Graham, one of the try scorers at Elland Road last month. But Hunslet have failed to unlock this Leigh defence so far this evening. Andrew Marson there, making his debut for the club this evening. And here comes scrum half King to John Wolford. He runs the other way, bounces off his own player. Gary Van Bellen does the tackling. King again attacked in half-back. Gives it out to Bateman. He pushes one man off, but it's the last tackle coming up. King with the kick. Picked up by Derek Pike, gives it to fullback Chris Johnson. Right, Leigh in possession just outside their own 25. Oh, John Woods looking for the pass there, which didn't come. Here comes Jeff Clark. Long ball out to John Henderson. To Graham Wogan, a big gap here. Wogan comes inside. Good cover tackle coming in from King and Graham, but better play from Leigh. Now to Ray Taburn. Van Bellen. Good play, John Woods on the break. Now how far will John Woods go? He cuts inside two, throws the ball out, and it's picked up by scrum half Graham King. Relief for Hunslet. Leigh seemed to have them on the rack on that occasion. Fullback Kay dodging and weaving behind his own players. Still going. Makes the break. Tackle by Woods. King again attacked in half-back. Gets it out to substitute Marson. Hunslet looking to make another substitute. David Murray, their substitute back, warming up. But they're still in possession. 10 yards inside the Leigh half, trailing by 18 points to 4 with 5 minutes of the second half gone. Wolford again. Last tackle coming up. Can Wakefield, beg your pardon, can Hunslet conjure anything from this? Standoff Carwood gets the kick out. Taken by Johnson. Johnson tackled on his own 25. Ray Taburn. Hunslet certainly not given this one up by any stretch of the imagination. Here comes Jeff Clark. Gary Stevens attacked in half-back. Mark Thomas shrugs the first tackle off, but falls to a two-man tackle 10 yards outside his own 25. Gary Stevens again, this time with the kick. Good looking kick, but it doesn't find touch. It's saved by fullback Kay, but Kay steps into touch, says the touch judge on the far side of the field. Almost in exactly the same position that Graham Wogan did the same thing in the first half. So it'll be Leigh head and ball for scrum of this second half, and Leigh win the scrum. Run around doesn't work. Hunslet are up very quickly to stop that one. Good looking pass to John Henderson. He's going to break clear, there's no doubt noting this time that John Henderson has scored a fine try in the corner for Leigh. After 7 minutes of this second half, John Henderson showing a fine turn of speed on that occasion, as he did on Saturday, to score the only try for Leigh on that occasion in the first round fixture. And that brings Alex Murphy to his feet to give the instructions out. He wants more, he'll not be happy with the current situation. Tony Cottrell, the man receiving the instructions. John Woods with the conversion attempt. He kicked his first one off the touchline, but he fails with this one. So in fact he's only kicked 1 goal so far from 5 attempts this evening. But Leigh now stretch their lead to 22 points to 4. And the bad news for Hunslet is that David Murray is coming on for the injured John Wolford, and I would think Leigh would be glad to see the back of Wolford. He's been a thorn in their side most of the match. Mark Thomas takes that ball. Will Leigh throw the ball about now and go to town? Comes Derek Pike. Certainly more variety and more enterprise in the Leigh play. Comes Gary Van Bellen. He's tackled by Tate and Bowden. Leigh 18 points clear. Gary Stevens dodges and weaves. Mal Graham makes the tackle. Mark Thomas now. Out to Derek Pike. Pike dodges, looks for someone on the inside. No one there. Last tackle coming up to Taburn. Long ball out to Davis. Thomas with the kick. Will it find touch? It's running very well for Leigh. It is a very good kick for touch indeed. And it takes play back into the Hunslet 25. It'll be Hunslet's head and ball at this scrum. Coming up to 10 minutes of the second half gone. Leigh lead by 22 points to 4. King to feed the scrum. Well, Gary Stevens gets the ball again. Once again, the referee Mr. Hodgson wants the scrum formed again, and King to feed once more. This time Hunslet get the ball. As the Leigh substitute Phil Johnson loosens up down in front of us. Hunslet just outside their own 25, and a stupid penalty kick to give away by Gary Van Bellen, and an even more stupid one 10 yards further back. Totally unnecessary, the first one, and the second one even worse still. So Eric Fitzsimmons kicks for touch, and that bit of indiscretion by Gary Van Bellen has lost Leigh about 45 yards. So here comes Eric Fitzsimmons, and he breaks clear. Poor Leigh tackling. Great tackle though from fullback Chris Johnson. Leigh were asleep on that occasion as King moves the ball right. Woods goes for the interception and doesn't make it. Good solid tackling from Leigh again. Hunslet desperate for a score now. Move it inside to Bateman, and he's over. The much needed first try that Hunslet wanted comes after 52 minutes of this match, and reduces the Leigh lead to 22 points to 8. Yes, Andrew Bateman was the try scorer. Eric Fitzsimmons with what should for him be a comfortable conversion attempt. And if he's successful, he will only be 12 points ahead. So Fitzsimmons steps up, slots the ball between the posts, takes Hunslet into double figures with his third goal from 4 attempts. And with 52 minutes of this match gone, Leigh find themselves leading by 22 points to 10. John Woods back at the centre with the restart. Take my Fitzsimmons again. Once again a gap appears in the centre of that Leigh defence. King. The ball is lost in that tattle. They'll scrum it down. The Leigh head and ball. In fact it isn't. Hunslet feed the scrum. Hunslet win the scrum, but Hunslet knock on. So this time it will be Leigh head and ball. Gary Stevens to feed. Well, the referee indicates the scrum turned round and he wants the ball fed in again. Mr. Hodgson's kept a firm grip of the match, apart from his handling of the scrummages, which have left a little to be desired at times. This time, blatant feed by Gary Stevens. Gives Hunslet the third penalty kick of this second half. Great. King again. Goes the other way. Marston the sub. Makes progress into the Leigh half. King again. Looking for Bateman. He draws it alone. It's now with Mal Graham. He breaks clear. Poor tackling again by Leigh on that occasion. But it's the last tackle coming up. Can Hunslet conjure anything up from this? They throw it back to fullback Kay. Taken by Johnson. Well, they must all have been offside, but the referee says he was allowed the required yardage to play the ball. Ray Taburn. Good run from acting halfback. Free kick for a deliberate kick, I think. By second row, I think second row forward, Al Graham is the offender. Gives Leigh their second penalty and Leigh decide to tap it. Now here comes Tony Cottrell. Suicide pass to John Emerson. Rowe completes the tackle. Cottrell now. And he's bundled into touch. And Peter Rowe. And Tony Cottrell. Exchanging a few black looks. Referee Mr. Hodgson telling the players to cool it. Graham King will feed this scrum. And he's not happy. And once again that scrum was not really formed properly. And Leigh are given a penalty. Well, it's the referee's job surely to tell the scrum when to form. John Woods puts the ball out of play, 10 yards inside the Hunslet half. Ray Taburn with the tap. To Derek Pike. To Gary Van Bellen. Good yardage gained by Van Bellen on that occasion. Leigh wanting a score to extend their lead. Gary Stevens goes it alone. A lovely looking break. Looking for support, but there's none there. Stephen Davis to Phil Fox. Fox makes progress. Has he stayed in play or has he not? No, the touch judge, his flag is up. Good break from Leigh. But they didn't use the full 6 tackles. But the position is there now. They're deep in Hunslet territory. But once again, it'll be King to feed this scrum. Once again, the scrum doesn't go down properly. And really, the referee should be getting a grip of the packs. Go with scrum this time. And it's Leigh ball. Now, Leigh have the position and the possession. Good tackle from Hunslet. Pin Leigh down on the 25. Here goes Henderson, and another good tackle coming in. Leigh wasting the tackles at the moment. Here goes loose forward Thomas. It's the last tackle coming up. Goes back to John Woods, who coolly drops his 2nd goal of the season. Good tactical move. That increases the Leigh lead to 13 points. Now means that Hunslet have to score 3 times. John Woods drop goal 18 minutes into this 2nd half. Leigh just 22 minutes away from a place in the quarter-finals and a home tie a week on Sunday with the mighty Hull Kingston Rovers. But that's in the future. This game is still to be won. They're 13 points ahead. But Hunslet are not beaten yet. Fitzsimmons with the kick. Beats 2 Leigh players. Touch judge on the near side indicates that the ball was out of play, or Mark Thomas was out of play when he played the ball. The Leigh supporters close by didn't agree with that decision. But it gives a scrum inside the Leigh 25, and Leigh win one again against the head. Woods tattle by King. Gary Stevens now moves it for Mark Thomas. Thomas beats 1 man, but not the 2nd. Play in centre field, just outside the Leigh 25. Once again with Stevens to Van Bellen. Hunslet pushing back. Leigh still in their own 25. Here comes Jeff Clark. Leigh not moving the ball as they were earlier. It's the last tackle coming up. They've made no groundage whatsoever. Good break from Stevens. It's the last tackle. It'll be a turnover. The 2nd turnover of the game, both in Hunslet's favour. King attacked in half-back. Sit out to Idle. That looked like obstruction, but the referee allows them to get away with it. King again attacked in half-back. They move it this side to prop forward Bowden. Hunslet struggling a little at the moment without the mastermind Wolford. But here comes Mal Graham. Support's not up quick enough. Leigh stopped the move in the tackle. Here comes King. Good tackling again by Leigh. King goes to the right. Gets it inside. The Leigh coveralls out once again, but it's the last tackle coming up. The Hunslet kick. Murray with the kick. Substitute back. And Jeff Clark, I think, is the man that's got possession for Leigh. Leigh try to clear their own 25-yard lines. Things getting a little misty and difficult to identify the players at the moment. Must apologise for that. Leigh in possession, just outside their own 25. Out to Gary Stevens. Good break by Tony Cottrell. He loses, well, King makes the tackle, but the pass, the support's there on that occasion. Play now inside Hunslet territory. Will Leigh move it? Jeff Clark now pass it out to Mark Thomas, but that pass wasn't good enough. The cover was. The last tackle coming up. Good break by Clark to Stevens. Loose ball to Van Bellen, to Cottrell, to Van Bellen. He kicks. Why not? It's the 6th tackle. If it stays in play, it could be to Leigh's advantage, but at least they haven't given the ball away at a turnover. Hunslet will tap it from their own 25. 17.5 minutes of the match remaining. Leigh lead by 23 points to 10. Well, that appeared as though he played for that penalty from where I'm sitting, but nevertheless the referee has given it. It's a penalty kick to Hunslet. Fitzsimmons is called up to kick for touch on this near side. So Eric Fitzsimmons takes the kick, takes play to just inside the Leigh half. Graham King with the tap. Comes the near side to Bateman. Good tackle from Cottrell. And once again, there was no pulling on that occasion. That was definitely played for by Bateman, in my opinion. And the referee is being conned at the moment by the Hunslet players. Fitzsimmons with a kick for touch again. Takes play up to the Leigh 25. King again with the tap. This time it's prop forward Bowden who drives in. Van Bellen completes the tackle. King attacked in half-back, gets it out to Graham. Bring Bateman in on it again. Good tackling by Leigh. King again, acting half-back, going it alone. Leigh wise to that one. Move it right to Carwood. Leigh rise into the occasion on this. At the moment, with their tackling, and is needed. It's the last tackle coming up. Hunslet are only a matter of yards short. In fact, a try has been given under the Leigh post. Tap through, caught the Leigh defence napping, and that has really brought Hunslet back into this game. Second row forward, Mal Graham, in fact, who was the try scorer. And that should be the easiest of conversions for Eric Fitzsimmons from right under the post. And Hunslet are by no means beaten at the moment. They now trail by 23 points to 16, with 15 minutes of this second round Silk Cut Rugby League Challenge Cup match remaining. So John Woods with the restart. Loose tackling will have to be on its mettle now as Hunslet go to town. They've everything to play for now. They've still got to score twice to win. King attacked in half-back. To Graham. Graham pushes one man off. Leigh's tackling has gone a little at the moment. It's all Hunslet. There goes Gray. Well, in fact, I thought he'd been tackled, but King gets it out to Graham again. Good tackle from fullback Johnson, and Hunslet are all over Leigh at the moment. They've really come back with a vengeance. Bowden strives him. They're in a good attacking position once again in the Leigh 25. It's now with Graham to stand off Carwood. Last tackle coming up. Can they conjure anything up from this one? So once again, it's a drop goal attempt. And in fact they scored the third try under the post. That drop kick came back off the post. And Leigh have been stunned by two tries in the space of a minute. Well, we credit that try to substitute forward Andrew Marson, and from Leigh looking well on their way to victory this evening. They've certainly got it all to do now, because Fitzsimmons slips this one over. The score will be 23 points to 22. And he has no difficulty in doing that. And so we now have ourselves a cup tie. 12.5 minutes remain. Leigh 23 points, Hunslet 22. 12 points in the space of 90 seconds has really rocked Leigh, as their tackling up the centre has left a little to be desired in the last 5 minutes. So Hunslet now, they're running with all the confidence in the world. King again attacked in half-back. Hunslet on their own 25. King again goes behind the play the ball. He's become the dictator since Wolford went off. Mal Graham, one of the try scorers. Leigh failing to knock them down as they were earlier in the game. King goes again, throws it out wildly, but it'll fall for a Hunslet player. Bowden is the man with the ball. It's the last tackle coming up. Now back to Kay, who likes to run. It'll be the first turnover in Leigh's favour this evening, and that could be crucial, as Leigh need to get back with points on the board as soon as possible. Gary Stevens now to John Woods. Woods goes scootering through. He's half checked. He falls. Tackle is completed. There goes Stephen Davis again after his hat-trick. Now the Leigh crowd really do get behind their side. They're right under the pulse. Is it the last tackle? I haven't seen the referee indicate it. They move it quickly. John Henderson. Keep it going. A wild ball thrown away, dropped on by Graham Wogan. Last tackle this time to Gary Van Bellen. Stephen Davis to Pike. And they finally lose the ball with trying to do that bit too much. And Hunslet are back in possession. And here goes substitute Murray. Hunslet certainly giving as good as they're getting at the moment. King again. Murray now. Good break from Marson. Inside pass to King, and he's good. And he scores by the post. And what a tremendous turnaround we've had here in the space of the last 6 minutes. And an easy conversion attempt once again for Eric Fitzsimmons. And Leigh must really be wondering what's hit them. I think it's scrum half Graham King was the try scorer, and immediately Leigh are going to replace their scrum half with Phil Johnson, who was the man of the match in the first round victory on Sunday. But this has been a startling revival by Hunslet. 18 points in the space of 6 minutes has taken them into a 28 points to 23 lead, with just 8 minutes of this match remaining. And it's John Woods back at the restart. It looks as though Roy Howarth is about to come on as well. Well, all the time in the world, a foolish thing to do. Hunslet snatched at the ball, and Leigh get a scrum with head and ball inside the Hunslet 25. Phil Johnson to feed the scrum, and Leigh win the ball. Well, they're up on John Woods in great numbers there. Mark Thomas now. Leigh needing to cool themselves down and use this ball. John Woods.
Move up, forward again.
And they lose the ball, but have they regained it? No, they haven't regained possession. Hunslet have the ball. But the referee gives a knock on and a scrum down. Well, what excitement here at Hilton Park. And Leigh get a penalty at that scrum for offside. Leigh decide to run it. They want the 6 points. Jeff Clark strides through all those odds, those Hunslet posts. Leigh are 10 yards short. Mark Thomas there, but he's tackled short. Leigh throwing everything in now. Here comes Gary Van Bellen is pushed back. Leigh must get a score from this position. Thomas forced to go back inside, and Leigh make no progress again. Phil Johnson attacking half-back. Phil Fox takes the ball on the overlap and is in for the try, but the goal kick still has to be converted, because Leigh now find themselves 1 point behind. They trail by 28 points to 27 as Phil Fox scores his second try of the evening just 5 minutes from time. And that really came about from the kick-off, when I think it was standoff. Gary Carwood snatched at that ball and knocked on and gave Leigh the position. Well, Phil Johnson has taken over the goal kicking role since he came on. He kicked 5 from 5 attempts on Sunday. Well, this one is needed more than any of those he kicked on Sunday. Roy Howarth is about to come on. We don't know who he's going to replace. There goes Johnson's attempt, but it's short under the post, and Gary Van Bellen is the man being replaced by Roy Howarth. So 4.5 minutes remain, and Leigh trail by 1 point, 28 points to 27 in this second round Silk Cut Rugby League Challenge Cup tie here at Hilton Park. Fitzsimmons kicks deep. Taking my winger Graham Wogan. Now Leigh have got to get this ball somehow down to this end. Jeff Clark now. But Hunslet will tattle their hearts out now. Here comes Ray Taburn. Phil Johnson now to Mark Thomas, to Tony Cottrell. He tries to straighten the move up. Leigh getting through the tackles too quickly. Derek Pike stopped in the tackle there. It's the last tackle coming up. Throws it back to Phil Johnson, and it's kicked through by Mal Graham. The ball goes over the dead ball line. That would have been the killer punch if Graham had made that try. But for Leigh, it works out to their advantage. They get the ball back and 6 tackles. John Woods goes to acting halfback. Derek Pike now. But Leigh certainly need to give the ball some air. 3 minutes on the watch remaining. Loose passing. Here comes Roy Howarth. His first touch, I think, since coming on a substitute for Gary Van Bellen. John Woods tried to go quickly from the acting half-back. Here comes Taburn. That ball is loose. Drops for Eric Fitzsimmons. A wild attempt. But Hunslet get possession. They'll be happy to play the 6 tackles, as Peter Rowe showed. Brought down very easily on that occasion. Mal Graham now. Well, they're really wasting the tackles. Oh, this is play acting at the moment. Well, the referee stops the clock.
Well, that's right, Peter, tell him.
2 minutes plus injury time remaining. Leigh 27 points, Hunslet 28. And the Hunslet prop forward Andrew Bateman has been adjudged the Silk Cup man of the match. And he's the man in possession now. As Hunslet play the containing game, they're using the 6 tackles. Out to Bowden. Last tackle coming up. They're not prepared to do anything silly. They'll look for the drop goal, surely, to Fitzsimmons, who bounces off a Leigh player safely into the hands of Derek Pike. Now, what can Leigh conjure up? John Woods tries to go it alone. Leigh needing to use the wings. Here comes Jeff Clark, but playing once again up the centre. Out to Woods, out to Taburn, to Cottrell, to Henderson. Will Henderson kick? He kicks ahead, he's half obstructed by King. Kay drops on the ball. And then gets a penalty kick, which was the last thing Leigh wanted. Silly play by John Henderson, a bit of retribution for the half obstruction by Graham King. Hunslet will take all the time in the world now. They can smell the 3rd round home tie with Old Kingston Rovers. And Fitzsimmons puts it safely out of play. And once more, time wasting tactics by Hunslet. They'll go down and there's a question whether that was a voluntary tackle or not. But once again, they're play acting. Going down at the slightest touch. King attacked in half-back. Hunslet right in sight of victory now. Goes to Bateman. The tackle is completed. And it looks as though Leigh have made a shock exit out of the 2nd round Challenge Cup tie. They have. There goes the hooter for full time, and what a disaster for Leigh, leading by 22 points to 10. Some 15 minutes into this second half, they conceded 18 points in a 6-minute spell. And really that's one that can hardly be believed by the Leigh supporters. But the final scoreline is Leigh 27, Hunslet 28. The try scorers for Leigh were 2 from Phil Fox, 2 from Stephen Davis, 1 from John Henderson, 1 conversion from John Woods and a drop goal from Woods. For Hunslet, tries from Andrew Bateman, Mal Graham, Andrew Marson and Graham King. Eric Fitzsimmons, 6 goals, making the difference in the end. So a week on Sunday, it will be Hunslet who will be at home to Old Kingston Rovers in the 3rd round. On behalf of your cameraman, Billy Leigh, this is your match commentator, Derek Disley, saying we hope you've enjoyed the match and goodbye from Hilton Park.